Miami!
To mission control, we have liftoff.
Phinhub! Phinhub! We talking Dolphins city! Phinhub, Phinhub! Yeah! It's that Dolphin show! Phinhub!
Welcome to the Phinhub Show, the one NFL podcast you can't leave off your roster. Now here's your hosts, Joe and Kevin DeHaven.
All right. Welcome into another episode of the Phinhub Show. We have some news at the quarterback position. The Miami Dolphins have signed Tyler Huntley from the Baltimore Ravens practice squad. If you haven't already, make sure to check out BetUS and use code YouTube150 for a 150% bonus on your first 3 deposits for up to $2,000. So make sure to check out BetUS and use code YouTube150. The Miami Dolphins have signed Tyler Huntley from the Baltimore Ravens practice squad. Kevin, what do you think about that?
I think it's a great signing. I think it's something that they wanted to do earlier in the season. I think they were actually entertaining the idea of trading for him. When the Browns had put him on the market, they ultimately waived him. The Ravens picked him up. I think it's a good signing. I think it's something that it's kind of nice to have him in the building now. Maybe you can get to learn the playbook. Maybe this is the answer for the future as far as, someone to back up Tua in the long run, because I do believe Tua will be back. I think he's going to be fine. I like it. I like his mobility. I think he provides something different that you can't really replace. You know what I'm saying? Because Tua's a different type of quarterback. He's, precision, anticipation. There's not so many dudes out there that can come in and do what Tua does, right? So if you bring him in, maybe add a different wrinkle to the offense while he's out there, kind of off-platform throws, rolling out of the pocket, running the ball, a little bit of read option. I think it's a really nice dynamic, and I think it kind of switches the whole, I guess, the look of the team. It's kind of harder for teams to game plan against us. So I think it's really interesting. It's cool. Yeah,
he seems almost like the polar opposite of what Tua is.
Which I think it's good. It provides, in a weird way, it provides balance, even though it's the complete opposite, right?
And correct me if I'm wrong here, guys, but from what I saw from what I've gathered from Huntley's game is he's not the accurate spot throwing player that Tua is, but he is more of the mobile,
reacting to what the defense gives you, right?
Right. So, off script plays is what he seems to be good at. So maybe that kind of counteracts what this offensive line has been looking like the last 2 weeks, especially now with Teron Armstead and his shoulder injury. So I like this. I wonder what it's going to look like, and is he going to get the start over Skylar Thompson already, or is this something that's going to have to we're going to have to let it play out with Skylar Thompson, maybe see how he performs this first or maybe even his second game to ultimately say, like, all right, we've seen enough from Skylar, let's bring in Tyler, or does Tyler compete from day one for that starting position?
Compete with Skylar eventually?
So this was not a move to in any way, shape, or form out of anything not that has to do with Skylar. Very our team, and going all the way back to his first rep as in rookie minicamp as a rookie to down the stretch of the 22 season to what he was able to do to win the 2 job. This is not in any direct reflection to Skylar as to his backup. This is more for the depth. I do think that it helps the dynamics of the room, and to give another guy with starting history to this team, and gives another added addition of a guy that's a signal caller that a team can get behind. So I was happy adding what we were able to do in the quarterback room and adding Boyle, but I think this is more directly to back up Skylar, and then you always let competition play out when it's out on the field, but this is a depth move for sure.
I think you're handicapping your team if you don't allow him to compete starting from the moment he gets in here, right? Throw him out there, see what he does, see if he looks better than Skylar Thompson. Is Skylar Thompson the answer? Absolutely not. Maybe for a couple games as backup, I still don't want him out there. I know a lot of people are saying that he provided a great game against the Bills in that one playoff game. Granted, it wasn't him doing all that. It was the defense actually coming through and putting us in that game, keeping us in that game in key moments. And whatever, we'll keep him out there. McDaniel says he believes in him. I think that's something he has to say at this point because you have to justify the fact why he's the second,
Right.
String quarterback. I don't think McDaniel thought we would be in this position at least this early in the game too. So
Does he get the
does
start?
he get to start? I don't think he does, but I think he should at least have an opportunity to come in because also people saying that you don't just sign a quarterback off the street and put him in to start automatically. I beg to differ. Joe Flacco last year, Josh Dobbs last year. Like there's scenarios where this has happened.
Right.
And quarterbacks who come in and have had success right off the bat. You know what I'm saying? So once you bring in also just a little bit more context behind that, you bring in a quarterback and that quarterback's throwing a Tyreek Hill to Jaylen Waddle, right? Guy like John Smith, maybe Devon, achane, some little screens. There's ways that you can dumb down this offense and still be productive, right? So
Right.
I would like to see him out there. I think he provides a completely different look.
Yeah, I think what we're looking at here is somebody that, has been in the offense now. This is his third season with Mike McDaniel's offense, so he knows the playbook. At this point, he understands it well enough. And then you are getting a guy off the street, and bringing him into an offense he doesn't fully understand. So I can see the argument against it. So I do believe that Skylar Thompson's at least going to get 1 or 2 games in. And then his play is going to have to determine how soon or even if we go with Tyler Huntley. I think it is pretty cool that we brought him in now because it does give us a chance to see what the opposite Tua looks like with these players. Like now we've injected even more speed into this team.
Yeah. It's true. I didn't think about that, but the amount of speed on the field if Huntley's out there too is crazy.
Yeah, so it's a cool dynamic what we have going on, but I'm still so concerned with the injuries that we have in all areas of this team, and it doesn't seem like it's getting any better. It's crazy now with Teron Armstead. Looks like he might have a serious shoulder injury, maybe. So now you were saying Patrick Paul, is he going to be starting over Kendall Lamb at left tackle?
I think he should. I mean, my logic there is that Kendall Lamb is both the left tackle and right tackle backup. You know what I'm saying? So I think you had to put Patrick Paul in there because God forbid if Lamb goes down and Austin Jackson goes down, then you don't have a right tackle on this team. You got to put Liam Eichenberg in there. You don't want to see him at right tackle. We've seen that before. It got Tua hurt. You don't want that again, right? So I would say it'd be nice to see the rookie get some valuable experience already because this is the guy of the future. This is probably our left tackle next year because Teron Armstead, it's looking like it's inevitable. He's going to retire after this year, especially after this injury.
He should. He's not a guy that I want to continue depending on.
No.
And the only reason why this offensive line, even on paper, has any kind of validity to it is
the idea
because
of him being out there.
The idea of Teron Armstead actually being on the line. But the honest truth is, I mean, you're lucky if you get him for a half right now. Or even half the season right now. So do we even have, our offensive line has to be one of the worst in the NFL.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is actually the perfect opportunity for Patrick Paul to come in because now you're not protecting Tua, you're protecting Skylar Thompson, right?
Right.
I don't wish this on Skylar Thompson, but if he were to get hurt, it's not as bad.
I mean, that is
terrible.
What I'm saying. I get what you're saying. That's terrible.
Okay, it's not as detrimental to your team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want him to, and that's why I said I don't wish it on him.
Yeah.
But if you were to get hit, It's not like Tua's getting hit.
It's not the franchise.
It's not the franchise quarterback. Exactly. The $200 million that you invested in this guy. So if Patrick Paul's out there, maybe he plays a fantastic game. Maybe he's hitting
I agree
right
with
off.
you.
Yeah.
I do think that Patrick Paul needs to get in some playing time already because, number one, Teron can't go 100%. Like, what's the point of having him out there? You can't count on him. And
Later on in the season, too. You never know if he has to go.
If the Dolphins can keep the ship afloat without Tua for, the next 4 games, 5 games, whatever it is that Tua's going to be out, then it's important that he gets those reps in because later on during the season, if we're making that playoff push, if we are in the playoffs, we're going to need Patrick Paul to be ready because Teron Armstead is not going to be the guy going forward.
Yeah, and I agree with that because you can't rely on the idea of having Teron Armstead in a key moment, right? Let's say we make it to the playoffs this year. You can't rely on him even if he starts a game for him to finish that game. So we need Patrick Paul to be perfect. We need not perfect, but we need him to be out there already starting to get those mistakes out and just play a really solid game, right?
As a matter of fact, Patrick, it's a weird kind of situation, but I would even feel more comfortable with Patrick Paul just being the starter over Teron because you give Teron all this time, let Teron heal up, and then come playoff time, maybe Patrick Paul is a valuable, like a decent, left tackle by that time. And then you can bring in Teron. Maybe I'd feel more comfortable with Teron coming into a game cold than Patrick Paul coming into a game cold. You get what I'm saying? Like as a veteran, you can bring Teron Armstead up in the fourth quarter and he hasn't played a snap and he's going to perform for you well enough.
Yeah, it's not only physically but it's mentally too. Teron Armstead just can hit off right off the bat. He can come in and just be perfect.
Yeah,
right?
his talent and his the way that he plays the game is never in question. It's just his injury.
But obviously Patrick Paul, you put him in a key moment in the fourth quarter against the playoff team, he might have some mishaps.
Yeah, of course.
We've seen it firsthand. I think for the Chiefs. Or was it the Bengals? I think it was the Chiefs. The Chiefs have a rookie left or right tackle right now, and the guy was just making mistakes all game, right?
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Ultimately, they won, but you don't want to see Patrick Paul making mistakes in key moments in an important game. So,
well, going back to Tyler Huntley, I like the addition. I think it was the best move the Dolphins could have made at this particular time without trading for somebody else. So, I think Tyler Huntley's played in 20 NFL games to this point. Like you were saying, he made the Pro Bowl, what was it, 2 years ago?
2022.
In 2022. So he's a guy with some pedigree,
Yeah. Some level of talent, won some key games for the Ravens in that year too. So I'm not saying he's the answer at quarterback beyond Tua, but I think he's the answer right now as far as a backup. I think maybe even for the future. So I think it'll be nice for him to get some reps in.
And as far as, like a Madden kind of esque situation, it does add a little bit more of intrigue into the games that we're going to be watching without Tua.
At least from a Dolphins fan's perspective, it's a lot more fun seeing him out there than a guy like Skylar Thompson.
Exactly, because now we're like, okay, like it's more like of a video game kind of situation. Like you throw in a guy there with the physical talents because he's got arm talent. He can make any throw. He's fast, so it'll be interesting to see him out there with the other freaks of nature that we have in Tyreek and Jaylen and achane.
Yeah, it's crazy. You hear about the signing and instantly you're excited about the potential of what your offense can look like with him in it, right? Before that, I'm thinking about Skylar Thompson, and you're thinking about just such a conservative approach.
Conservative, exactly, yeah.
It's like, okay, just don't fuck up the game.
Don't fuck it up, right?
Like, okay, hopefully the defense can go and do their thing. Maybe we run the ball really well. Skylar Thompson just needs to make a couple passes, depending on the situation in the game, obviously. But now this guy comes in and you're like, I feel like there's a lot of things you can cook up, right? Some like little misdirection, some runs, some quarterback sneaks, some whatever, the RPO, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to do that with Skylar Thompson, so.
I know that there's and look, anything is possible, and Tua's my guy through and through.
100%.
I'm going with Tua. But there's definitely going to be some talk, and I am interested in seeing what the offense looks like with the polar opposite of a Tua and a guy more so in the build of a Lamar Jackson, you know, where he can do those off-script plays, get out of the pocket, you know, run the ball. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, is that like the best option for this type of offense that we have, right?
Well, thinking about it, the Dolphins, and look, I'm not, you know, a football genius or anything. I'm just a viewer like most of us.
Yeah.
But you have, you know, Jaylen, Waddle, and Tyreek Hill going out, you know, down 40 yards, right? So you're drawing a lot of that defense towards, you know, your stars, and then that's leaving some of the middle there, or the short route open. And for some reason, we don't really get it out to our tight ends. They're not doing a great job of that. And I thought that Jonnu was going to be more of what we could do, and I think we saw a little bit more of that against the Bills. But even still, I think he's the answer. I love Julian Hill and what he can provide in blocking, but he missed a key block in the Bills game, which it's like, brother, that's what you're here for. Smythe has not been great to start the season. Jonnu showed a little bit last game, so
he's
I
the
want to see
only
more
one
from
that
him.
it's not even impressed with, that I'm okay with right now. Julian Hill, I can't stand right now. I think he has been terrible. They're hyping him up all offseason, all the blocking, all this, but he's missing key blocks. Yes, when he gets a hand on people, I've seen it. Like, he's strong. He's a strong dude. He's gonna hold them up. But if you're missing those blocks, it's the same. You're not even touching them. Like, dude, you're missing things that if Devon Chain hits that, it might be the difference of a touchdown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't want to see him out there anymore. I hope we invest into the tight end position beyond this year. You know, I do like what Jonnu Smith
Invest in the
provides.
line.
Oh, and the line as well.
We need to invest in the line.
Dude, I'm
bad.
going line and tight end in the offseason, right? And I know it's too early to even start talking about this, but next draft, even if you have to for the first 3 rounds, linemen, tackles, guards, whatever the case may be, because even Austin Jackson, I was not impressed with him last game. So,
Well, there's a lot more season to be played, and let's see how it plays out.
yeah.
But, yeah, Tyler Huntley, Miami Dolphin. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's episode, guys. If you haven't already, make sure to check out BetUS and use code YouTube150 for a 150% bonus on your first 3 deposits for up to $2,000. So make sure to check out BetUS and use code YouTube150. All right, guys, we will see you in the next one. Fins up.